Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Amy here. So today we are going to talk about upcoming books for the month of October. I cannot believe we are already, when this video goes up, almost there for October. Oh my goodness. And I have a nice long list of books that I'm interested in. So let's jump right into it. And as I say in all these videos, these are just books that caught my attention. I know there are plenty more out there that are releasing in the month of October, and I'm sure I missed some good ones as well. So let me know in the comments down below, what are y'all looking forward to in the month of October? I want to say September. The month of October. Any new books, let me know. So we have a good many books coming out for just the 1st of October. It's gonna be chock-a-block full with good new releases. First up, we have Rough Pages. This is by Lev A.C. Rossin. This will be releasing October 1st. This is actually the 3rd book in the Evander Mills series. I've read the first 2 books. I love them. So Evander Mills, aka Andy Mills, is a private investigator for the gay community, basically. So this one says, private detective Evander Andy Mills has been drawn back to the Lavender House estate for a missing persons case. Now, the Lavender House is where Andy's story originally took place. So we have Pat, the family butler, has been volunteering for a book service, one that specializes in mailing queer books to a carefully guarded list of subscribers. With bookseller Howard Salzberger gone suspiciously missing along with his address book, everyone on that list, including some of Andy's closest friends, is now in danger. A search of Howard's bookstore reveals that someone wanted to stop him and his co-owner, Dorothea Lamb, from sending out their next book. The evidence points not just to the feds, but to the mafia, who would be happy to use the subscriber list. Oh my god, this is so hard. Who would be happy to use the subscriber list for blackmail. Andy has to maneuver through both the government and the criminal world, all while dealing with nosy reporter who remembers him from his days as a police detective and wants to know why he's no longer a cop. With his own secrets closing in on him, can Andy find the list before all the lives are at risk? And this is set in the 1950s in San Francisco. So I would say you would probably have to read the first book, especially this one, since this one is taking us back to Lavender House, which is actually the title of the first book. But anyway, if you are caught up with Andy Mills, book 3 is coming out on October 1st. Also on October 1st, we're getting ready for Christmas with this one. This one is actually a novella. This is book 2.5 from the author who wrote The Maid. This is The Mistletoe Mystery by Nita Prose. So Molly, aka Molly the Maid, has made quite a name for herself in the first 2 books. I absolutely love Molly. I think she is the most interesting character, and I love everything about her. Everything just, I just love her. And I think you would too if you have not read this series by Nita Prose. So this is just a little holiday, taste into the holiday spirit, just a little novella. It says, Molly the Maid has a whole new mystery to solve this holiday season when a secret Santa gift exchange raises questions about who she can and cannot trust. And it looks like it's going to take us back into Molly's childhood with her and her gran raised her, and their holiday season. So you can read it now or you can save it for Christmas. This next book, also releasing on October 1st. This is The House at Watch Hill. This is by Karen Marie Moning. Now, I've never read anything by this author, and it looks like this is going to be a trilogy. So this is the first book in a trilogy, in a little trilogy series. I don't usually like, it depends on the series and how I like the characters. It just depends. But I'm not usually one to keep a series going is in like a mystery thriller type of book. Like I said, it really just depends on the book and the characters and, you know, where it's going. But this is based in Louisiana, so it just kind of, you know, was brought to my attention. So who knows? I may get this a go. I don't know. But anyway, it says a seductive new series in which a young woman moves to Divinity, Louisiana, to inherit a large fortune and a gothic mansion full of mysteries and ominous secrets. Zoe Gray is reeling from the sudden death of her mother when she receives a surprising call from an attorney in Divinity, Louisiana, with the news that she has been left in an inheritance by a distant relative, the terms of which he will only discuss in person. With nothing to lose, Zoe heads to Divinity and discovers she is the sole beneficiary of a huge fortune and a monstrosity of a house that sits ominously at the park of Watch Hill. But she must live in it alone for 3 years before the house or the money is hers. What Zoe doesn't know is that her own roots lie in this very house, and that in order to discover her true identity and awaken her dormant powers, she will have to face off against sinister forces she doesn't quite comprehend. Frida McFadden is giving us a new book on October 1st. This is The Boyfriend. She's looking for the perfect man. He's looking for the perfect victim. Sydney Shaw, like every single woman in New York, has terrible luck with dating. She's seen men who lie in their dating profile, men who stick her with the dinner bill, and worst of all, men who can't shut up about their mothers. But finally, she hits the jackpot. Her new boyfriend is utterly perfect. He's charming, handsome, and works as a doctor at a local hospital. Sydney is swept off her feet. Then the brutal murder of a young woman, the latest in a string of deaths across the coast, confounds the police. The primary suspect? A mystery man who dates his victims before he kills them. I'm not going to say any more. I don't want to give like too much away. I've only read one Frida McFadden and I absolutely loved it. It was Crazy Town. But I feel like there's just so many. I feel like she's just like popping them out left and right. So I'm anxious to see if this one is just as good as the one I read. And I need to really read more Frida McFadden. Another book releasing on October 1st. This is Society of Lies. This is by Lauren Ling Brown. Another new to me author. I was very drawn to this cover. It says, when a young woman is found dead on her college campus, her sister doesn't believe it was an accident. And her search for answers leads her closer to home than she ever would have imagined in this thrilling debut novel for an exciting new talent. So this is a debut for this author. It says, Maya can't wait to return to Princeton for reunions. It's been a decade since she graduated, but she is looking forward to seeing old faces and reminiscing about her college days. And this year is even more special because her little sister Naomi is graduating. I don't think I'm going to read into the synopsis because I feel like it might give too much away. But yeah, this looks like it's going to be like a sorority kind of murder, maybe a sorority or college class reunion type of murder mystery thriller. I just love the cover, so we'll see what's on the inside of the book. Now this next one, the title is what grabbed me because, as you know, I love a good social media murder mystery thriller. And this is Influencer by Adam Caesar. I'm pretty sure this is a young adult. I'm pretty sure he's a young adult author. I cannot talk today. I don't know what is happening. It's like my tongue is getting in the way of all the words. Does that make sense? Aaron Fortin is new in town. He drives a brand new Acura, a gift from his parents for uprooting him in the middle of senior year. Showing up on his first day at the local public school in that nice of a car, he knows he'll never blend in, and he doesn't care to try. The car, the new kid, Mystique, he can use all that. Crystal, not sure how to say her last name, carpools to the same school in her friend Trevor's beat-up van. In the van, along with Crystal and her friend Trevor, are Paul, Harmony, and Gail. Crystal's technically part of their misfit group, but most of the time she feels like she's the only one who doesn't fit. When Aaron sits at their lunch table, Crystal can see he's not who he says he is. But how big of a fraud is Aaron? So it looks like this is going to be like a popularity kind of thing. Like he's influencing this new kid that's coming to the school. He's influencing like the other kids to kind of like follow him, and he's like the new popular kid in town. But this girl Crystal is kind of seeing that he's probably not who he says he is. He's probably not who he says he is. Yeah. So she's gonna get down to the bottom of it, is what it looks like. But anyway, I wrote it down. It's coming out on October 1st. What is wrong with me? Why can't I do this today? Why can't I do that? Like everything is going wrong. It's okay. Moving on. Yes, and moving on to October 8th, we have a new book coming out by Jason Rekulak. I loved Hidden Pictures. It was like a 5-star for me. This is the last one at the wedding. I'm really excited for this book, so I hope it doesn't let me down. It says, from the best-selling author of Hidden Pictures comes a breathtaking work of suspense about a father trying to save his daughter from a life-altering decision that will put everything he loves on the line. Frank is shocked when his daughter Maggie calls him for the first time in 3 years. He was convinced that their estrangement would become permanent. He's even more surprised when she invites him to her upcoming wedding in New Hampshire. Frank is ecstatic and determined to finally make things right. He arrives to find that the wedding is at a private estate, very secluded, very luxurious, very much out of his league. Okay, I don't want to read too much into it, but it continues to say, an edge-of-your-seat thriller that delves deep into the heart of one family. The last one at the wedding is a work of brilliant suspense. I can't wait. I'm here for it. We have a new book by Alice Feeney coming out on October 8th as well. This is Beautiful Ugly. It says it's a gripping and deliciously dark thriller about marriage and revenge. Arthur Grady Green is having the worst, best day of his life. Grady calls his wife to share some exciting news as she is driving home. You know what? I think it's best we go into this one blind. Yeah, I don't want to read any of this. Let's just say that something happened, making it the worst, best, exciting day of his life. At the end of the synopsis, it does say, wives think their husbands will change, but they don't. Husbands think their wives won't change, but they do. How true is that? I can't wait. I love Alice Feeney, and I'm sure it's gonna be great. Okay, we have a new book coming out by Riley Hart. This is a male-male romance. This is releasing on, I wrote it down somewhere, October 10th. This is Easton. This is part of the Swift Brothers series. This is actually book 2. I'm not sure what book 1 was. Let's see. Morgan was book 1, and it released in April of this year. So I may have to go back. But I saw this and I was like, I wrote it down, even though it is book 2. It says Easton is a small town hurt comfort romance full of heart, heat, a touch-starved MC, and brothers learning how to have a relationship with each other. It deals with themes of grief, death of a parent and a sibling, and mental health struggles. So we have Easton, who is the youngest of the Swift brothers, and then there's Officer Archer Thorne. I wonder if this is going to be an age gap. It doesn't say. But Easton is the one who's always in trouble and can't get his life together. After his last situation, his dad washed his hands of him. So he seems to sort of latch on to this officer because the officer is actually treating him well and giving him what he needs. He says, each moment Archer shows me how good a man he is. And for the first time, I actually want to face my trauma and get over my past. So this looks like it might be a very heartfelt, sort of deep romance. Not sure if you can read it as a standalone, but I'll probably go back and read the first book, but this one comes out on October 10th. Another male romance coming out in October. This is releasing October 15th. This is Waves of Fury by K. Webster. Love a good K. Webster book. I do believe this might be the beginning of a series. Maybe not. It doesn't say. I thought it was. Yeah, Surviving Earth Chronicles, book 1. I have that written down. I knew I saw that somewhere. Anyway, this sort of deals with a apocalyptic situation. Ruined Earth, a survivor thriller featuring LGBTQ+ heroes who must band together despite their differences to not only adapt to the new destroyed world, but find safety in it. It's set in a tsunami-flooded city in the Pacific Northwest. It is a standalone with tie-ins to Skies of Fire, another Surviving Earth Chronicle installment. It's written by another author. Okay, so K. Webster is just writing sort of like an installment of her own apocalyptic world into this little series. So this one can be read as a standalone. A city destroying a tsunami crashes its way through San Francisco, and it's not looking to recede anytime soon. It just, K. Webster, kind of one of my favorite male romance authors. Apocalyptic world. It seemed right up my alley, so we'll see. Another male romance releasing on October 15th. This is Reluctantly You, and this is by Cora Rose. I have yet to read anything by this male romance author. This is actually book 3 in our Exception series. But this cover was beautiful. I mean, this one does say the story contains intense themes of depression and homophobia, as well as other potential triggers. It says, please see the full list of trigger warnings at the beginning of the book. So if you were to read this book, definitely check out the trigger warnings in the beginning. This one says, they say blood makes you related, but loyalty makes you a family. Sounds like a tacky wall art quote to me, but what do I know? I don't have a family, not anymore. And I definitely don't know loyalty. Not since my brothers collectively decided to shut me out of their lives. Not since my mother lied to me and kept a devastating secret. Not since my father sold our company out from under me to a smug jerk with a chip on his shoulder. Gideon Masters, he's my new boss, and I hate him for everything that's happened to me, for everything that's been taken away. Even though I know deep down that being an angry bastard all my life hasn't done me any favors, and that my hatred must have consequences. So maybe Gideon is my rightful punishment. Maybe I deserve his retribution to my sins. But the way he taunts me and torments me, the way he commands me, it all feels too good to be wrong. Maybe I don't want him to stop. Check out the trigger warnings if you're going to read it. And let me know in the comments, have anybody read anything from Cora Rose? I have yet to read anything, but I do have some of her backlist books on previous lists that I've written down. So yeah, I need to check her out. The last male romance on my list, another beautiful cover. This is Just Bromantically Invested, and this is the 4th book in the Accidental Love series by Saxon James. I also have yet to read this series, even though the books have been on like my TBR list. Like The Husband Hoax has been on my list like forever. That's the 1st book. And I see that there is a 0.5 book to the 1st book, The Anti-Wingman. So I need to catch up. But anyway, the 4th book is coming out on October 17th. So our characters are Madden and Penn, and it looks like they're best friends. So this is probably a best friends to lovers trope kind of book. Madden says, my best friend is uptight, gorgeous, the greatest person I know, and I might be a smidge in love with him, which is a stupid choice on my part when the guy is straight. Penn says being besties with an over-enthusiastic, gold-hearted nudist of a man is challenging sometimes. Madden makes everything sunshine when he's around. The problem is that he hasn't been around as much lately. We work together, sure, but he's got his roommates and I have no one. Just him. So I feel the distance acutely. But when an old client calls with a proposition for us, it feels like our one solid friendship is unraveling fast. He wants Madden to help him open a nudist resort, and if Madden's doing that, he won't be working with me. I'm trying not to panic over the thought of losing him, which is a typical common best friend reaction. Nothing out of the ordinary, and neither is the way my body has been reacting to him lately. Everything is totally, completely normal between us. This sounds like it's going to be cute. I think it could possibly be read as a standalone, but I think I might try to go back and read the first book and just kind of see where all the characters mesh together. We're down to our last two books. Both of these books will be releasing on October 29th. This is Leave the Girls Behind, and this is by Jacqueline Boblitz. I don't know if I'm saying that last name correctly. I've never read anything from this author. A fresh suspense novel about a woman haunted by a serial killer and the ghosts he left behind. Ruth Ann Baker is a college dropout, a bartender, and an amateur detective who just can't stay away from true crime. 19 years ago, her childhood friend was murdered by suspected serial killer Ethan Oswald. Still tormented by his case, Ruth can't help but think of the long-dead Oswald when another young girl goes missing from the same town. And when she uncovers startling new evidence that suggests Oswald did not act alone, she is determined to find his deadly partner in crime. So it looks like this might be sort of like an amateur detective kind of story who has a past and is maybe trying to get to the bottom of what happened to her childhood friend. It does say at the end, it's a spine-chilling thriller that will linger long after you finish the last page. So I've never read anything by this author, so I'm kind of intrigued. Although it does have like a 3.3 star average on Goodreads, but we'll see. And lastly, on October 29th, we're getting a new book from Paula Hawkins. This is The Blue Hour. It's been a while since I've read anything by this author. So we have an isolated Scottish island that is only accessible to the mainland for 12 hours a day. And we have a famous artist whose notoriously unfaithful husband disappeared after visiting her 20 years ago. A present-day discovery that intimately connects three people and unveils a web of secrets and lies. Welcome to Eris, an island with only one house, one inhabitant, and one way out. Unreachable from the Scottish mainland for 12 hours each day. Once home to Vanessa, a famous artist, whose notoriously unfaithful husband disappeared 20 years ago, now home to Grace, a solitary creature of the tides content in her own isolation. But when a shocking discovery is made in an art gallery far away in London, a visitor comes calling, and the secrets of Eris threaten to emerge. And that is it. That's all I have written down for the month of October. But like I said in the beginning, I know there are more books out there that are releasing and that you're probably looking forward to that I missed somewhere along the way of looking for books to talk to you all about. But it looks like October is going to be a promising month, so I'm excited. Thank y'all so much, as always, for watching. Hope y'all are all doing great out there. Hugs from me all around. I'm going to go check on my babies, see what they're doing. I'm surprised they're not in here with me. But yeah, I'll see y'all very soon in another video. Bye, y'all.